Hey friends, welcome to my channel where style, flavor, and faith meet. If you're new here, my name is Taylor and today we are diving into a warm, buttery, sweet dessert that never seems to go out of style, apple crumble. Whether you're looking for a nostalgic treat or something to impress your guests that doesn't break the bank or sweat, this classic is your go-to. Simple ingredients, easy steps, and smells that fill up your kitchen. It's a yes for me, so I hope it's a yes for you. So grab a drink, hit the like button, and let's get crumbling. So as you can see, I have already started cutting up the apples into small chunks and put them in this round dish here. I'm cutting the apples in half, so kind of doing like this, and then I'm just cutting them into smaller pieces just so that they can bake down a lot easier. I don't want them to be super mushy, but I also don't want them to be big enough to where they don't cook down enough. So I'm just doing this. And again, I am using Granny Smith apples. Use what you've got. Practically any apple will work, but this is just my apple of choice for the moment. However, if you did see my TikTok video, if you haven't yet, please check out my TikTok video because I did make this recipe with apples that I don't typically bake with, which are galas. So if you have an opportunity, head on over there and see how I did that recipe. Somewhat of a disaster in my opinion, but everybody else is seeming to love it. So we're just gonna go with it. So yep, just keep on with that. So as you can see, there is a little bit of a mixture on top of the apples here. So what I did was I mixed cinnamon, a pinch of salt, a half a cup of brown sugar. If you have cane sugar or white granulated sugar, that's okay too, as well as a tablespoon of unbleached white all-purpose flour. And then I mixed all of that up together in this bowl to get that mixture right there. It smells really good. Looks just like that. So once that was done, I sprinkled it all across the top of the mixture, and then I kind of let it sit for a second. And then as you can see in the bottom of it, it looks really juicy. So that juiciness actually came from me pouring a half a cup of just regular water over the top of the mixture. So the water is actually going to help the apples cook down while they're in the oven. And then the last thing that I'm gonna do, because I love me some vanilla. I'm going to add just a little bit over the top, not too much, but just enough so that it gets into that mixture. Also, another thing that you can do that I really love is lemons. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of lemon, fresh squeezed lemon juice here. Make sure I get all of the seeds out of there. We don't want any seeds in our crumble, do we? So I'm just gonna kind of take that. We're just gonna sprinkle some of the mixture here. Some of the juice right over the top. Not too much because I don't want it to be too lemony, but just lemony enough. So now what we're gonna do is make the crumble part of the apple crumble. So what I'm gonna do is, even though there's a little bit of mixture in here from before, that's okay because a lot of the ingredients are the same anyway. So I'm gonna use a half a cup of flour, so just a little bit more flour. And then I'm going to add a little bit more brown sugar. Again, use whatever other sugar you have. So a little bit more sugar. It's a little less than a half a cup there, but that's all right because there's other sugar in there. So don't need too much more. Also, I'm gonna add in my rolled oats. I'm gonna do a half a cup of that as well. So that's easy. So throw those in there. And then we're gonna do a little bit more of the salt. Again, just a pinch. You do not need much of that. Just enough though. We're going to move that out the way. And then we're also going to use some baking soda. Not too much of that. I put it in this tablespoon, but you can use whatever you want. You can free ball it with your hand, or you can just kind of dig it out using a measuring cup. I'm just going to use this because it's a lot easier. You don't want too much, but just enough. We are using the baking soda and the baking powder because we're also using flour. So that's going to help the flour to kind of crumble up. It's also going to make it that buttery, sweet topping that we are all familiar with, that we know and love. So now that I've got that, what I'm going to do is kind of mix it up with my hand, actually. It's okay to get down and dirty with your food. I think a lot of people think or get scared about putting their hands in there, but as long as your hands are clean, you go for it. You go right for it. So now everything is kind of mixed up together, and yeah, my hands do look a little crazy, but it's all for good reason. So again, I'm just going to keep on mixing this up, and everything is pretty mixed well, all of the oats and all, and the flour. And see, when I kind of put it together, it does like that, but it just continues to crumble. Well, we've got a little bit of a solution for that, and that is going to be some butter. So what I did was I melted a half a cup of butter into this bowl. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of slowly pour that in like that. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is actually kind of mix this up with a spoon just for a second. And now that all of that is mixed up well with the spoon, I'm going to get in there and get my hands dirty yet again. And now I can feel the crumble coming together. And hopefully you can see that it's getting a little bit doughy, which is exactly what you want. You want it to be doughy. So there you go. You see that? And I want to do this until all of the flour mixture has disappeared. So I'm doing pretty good. I don't want to mix it up too much because I still want it to have that crumble to it, to where, if I bunch it up in my hand like this, it still stays together. But I also don't want it to be too mixed up. So mix it up for about a minute or so, minute and a half. It's very warm in my hand because of the butter. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop this. Just kind of want you to see exactly what it is that I'm talking about there. See how crumbly that is, but it's also sticking together. That's what you want. That's the consistency that you're looking for. So now that I've got that, I'm going to bring my dish over here. All right. And all I'm going to do is just sprinkle this right on over the top. Just like that. And again, it's warm. It's still crumbly. It's okay if you made a mess. That is all right. That's what food is. Food is like a big science project. So you don't have to worry about being super neat and clean. And you want to make sure that the crumble is spread all across the top. So you want to make sure that it covers every ounce of your dish. So now that I don't have anything else left in here, I'll put that to the side. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this just to make sure that every apple is pretty much covered. Of course, you're going to have some that are kind of sticking out like that, and that's all right too. But if you can kind of press them down, try to get them pressed down like so. And now it's time to put this bad boy into the oven. So what I decided to do to protect the dish is put it on a sheet pan with a piece of aluminum foil on here, because I don't want the bottom to be too hot, nor do I want my dish to break. So I just decided to put it on here, and I'm gonna put it in the oven like so. Push it all the way to the back. And my oven has been preheating for about an hour or so, so it is pretty hot. I've got it on 355 degrees, and I'm gonna leave the dish in there for about 40 to 45 minutes. Look at this. Oh my goodness, it smells so buttery, cinnamony, sugary. It smells so good. Look at that. Oh my goodness. The oats are toasted up well. It really looks delicious. And there you have it, folks, the ultimate apple crumble. If you ever give this recipe a try, please let me know in the comments how you liked it, how it turned out, or you can tag me on your socials, as I would love to see your masterpiece. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you never miss a cozy recipe such as this. Thank you so much for hanging out in the kitchen with me today. And always remember, a little style, a lot of flavor, and bold faith can take you far. Bye for now.